Hey gang, looking to update your bathroom without breaking the bank? Well, today I'm going to show you a really simple bathroom refresh. You can do it in a weekend and it'll cost you less than 500 bucks. Let's dive in.
All right, what are we going to do in here? Take out that garbage! Replace that vanity! Get rid of that mirror! Replace that light! Toilet stays right there! Take out that garbage! Towel! Alright, the first thing we're going to do here is shut off the water to the sink. This can hardly be considered plumbing, but I want it stated for the record that I hate plumbing. It just never seems to go well for me. Alright, I got the water shut off, took out the P-trap. Hey, looky there. The vanity top wasn't glued down. That's great. Now I'm just going to go ahead and remove this mirror/storage unit. After I took out all the screws, there was some strange form of sorcery at work, holding it to the wall. There was a pretty distinct line between the old paint and the new paint, so I just took some 220 grit sandpaper and smoothed that out so that hopefully when I paint over that spot, you won't notice it. Fingers crossed. Then we're gonna disconnect the water to the toilet and drain the tank, just like so. You could also pump or suck the water out of the toilet bowl, but I like to live dangerously.
On legs, left with the legs. This is stuck. It's stuck good. Oh, never mind. I did not lift with the legs. Yep. Whew. That went horribly.
Whether you like someone who keeps it tight or just keeps it tidy, this video's got a little something for everyone. Vinyl flooring planks tend to come in like 5 to 7 different patterns, so what I'm doing here is organizing them based on their pattern. That way when I lay the floor out, I don't have to worry about laying multiple planks of the same pattern. Now I'm undercutting the trim using the bottom of some of that same flooring, that way it's the right height, and we're ready to lay our floors. This isn't the easiest flooring I've ever worked with. It's pretty difficult to put it together. But once you get it together, it tends to stay together pretty well, so at least there's that. To lay the flooring next to the shower, I'm going to use a method called planing and gluing. Pro tip: unless you don't value your time or money, don't plane the floor planks on top of the new flooring. Alright, let's try this again. I'm just going to plane off that lip on the bottom of the floor. It might take a couple of passes, or you just might need to adjust your planer. Just remember, less is more. Then I'm just going to put down a very tiny bead of super glue on the floor and slide my flooring in place. It still might take a little bit of elbow grease to get that piece of flooring into place, but you don't want to leave much of a gap between your floor and your shower, so get it nice and tight and then just caulk it after the fact. Alright, getting down to the final few pieces here, and things are looking pretty good. When you get to your toilet flange, I just like to mark the flooring where it's going to lie on either side of the flange, and then I use I think it's called a profile gauge to get the right marks or tracings for the cutout of the flange. Just keep in mind that these cuts do not have to be perfect. Mine certainly weren't. Your toilet should cover any gaps between the flange and the flooring, provided you didn't get too crazy with your saw. Alright, I'm just laying the final pieces of flooring and then I'm ready to move on to more frustrating things. I trimmed the whole room, but I wanted to focus on this area so that I can make a pleat to hair club for men. I like to glue and tape the outside angles when I'm installing trim. That holds the trim in place before I get too slap happy with my nail gun. This little bump out was a lot of fun to trim. Turned out that neither of the corners was 90 degrees, but with a little trial and error I eventually got close to the right angle. After letting the glue dry for 20 minutes or more, it should be ready to be nailed down. Then it's just a matter of filling in the nail holes and caulking the top of the trim. You're also going to want to touch up the nail holes on that trim, but I don't like painting, so I'm going to skip that step. There was a lot of built up paint around the old fixture, so I'm just going to sand that off, same process as before, and then again do a little touch up painting. I guess I do paint, but I promise I'm not enjoying it. Let's get this new vanity in here. Oh boy. I'm just going to mark the studs, and then I'm going to put in some screws. Deck screws, if you're wondering, not just for decks. When fitting your vanity top, don't test gravity. Gravity always wins. Let's try this a second time. Notice the old door that I have the vanity sitting on? Much more solid. Much more gravity proof. I'm just taking a little bit of material off of the back of my vanity top, because unfortunately, my walls, like most houses in America, are not set perfectly at 90 degrees. You may have to fit it and sand it a couple of times, but if you're patient, you'll get a nice fit in the end. Time for more plumbing. Plumbing and painting. Not my jam. You're supposed to remove the aerator from the faucet before you use it for the first time. My guess is so that debris doesn't get caught in it, but who knows? I don't like plumbing, so don't take my word for it. Good enough for the girl I go with. Hopefully. Time for the light fixture. This should go without saying, but make sure you cut off the power to any electrical sources that you're working with. I went with the fancy light bulbs that came at a fancy price, but don't you think they tie the whole room together? Yeah, me neither. Time for the mirror. I'm really gonna miss that small storage unit, but it just wasn't classy. And if there's one thing you should know about me, is that I'm all about class. I went with a small oval mirror that came with these handy mounting brackets. And if I had bothered to read the box, I would have known that before I went and bought some other mounting brackets. Oh well, I'm sure they can be returned.
Now it's time to sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.